Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Cruz here to show you guys all about order of operations, the next kind of set of stuff that we're going to be going over. So, with this, you guys previously learned something called PEMDAS, right? Y'all remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And that is that's like the phrase that we use to identify parentheses, exponents, multiplying and dividing, adding and subtracting. So, we're going to do away with that. Instead, we're going to learn the thing that Mr. Cruz wants us to learn. And Mr. Cruz says we do GEMDAS. I'm gonna write it up here as best I can. Oh gosh, I hate doing this thing sometimes because my handwriting looks ratchet. I like to say GEMDAS, and the reason I say a G instead of a P is because the G stands for grouping. There's more to grouping. There's more than just parentheses, essentially. So we have parentheses, but when we start in seventh grade, we're going to be learning more. So we're going to be seeing brackets. We're also going to be seeing absolute value bars. We'll see things like big division bars or big fraction bars. All of those things qualify as groupings, which means that we would do what's inside of those first. So that's why I say GEMDAS instead of PEMDAS, because there's essentially more than just parentheses that we would have to focus on. All right. So with that, the G stands for grouping. The E stands for exponents, but it's exponents and square roots, right? Y'all remember this from like the beginning of the year, how this is my base, this is my exponent. The exponent tells me how many times I'm multiplying my base with itself. And then this here is our radical symbol, which stands for the square root of whatever number is inside there. So it's saying, hey, when I divide the number that's inside of the radical symbol, I need to be able to get the same number that I divided it by. It's like the opposite, the inverse of squaring a number. All right. The other thing is we have multiplying and dividing, and multiplying and dividing actually happen together. And when they happen together, we're going to be doing them from left to right. That means that if I have a problem where there's division first and then there's a multiplication, I'm doing the division first because we do it in order from left to right. Even though the M comes first when we say GEMDAS, it doesn't mean the multiplication is always going to come first. It's just it happens left to right. So, yeah. And the same rule applies when we're doing addition and subtraction. We're doing those left to right. So if I have subtraction in a problem before I have the addition, I'm doing the subtraction first. The reason why we have to do it this way is because if you do it any other way, you're going to end up getting the questions wrong. There's a game that I shared with you guys recently where like they kind of didn't follow the rule, but when you guys get to IXLs and worksheets, this is the rule that you're going to have to follow in order to get the questions right. All right, let's go through some examples. So this is you guys have this in your notes, and if you guys need a copy of it, I can share it with you guys. So let's move on. All right, example number one. So I'm gonna let me see if I can do this here. Oh gosh, you know what? Forget it. Never mind. GEMDAS. Let's just remember GEMDAS. Going back to this, right? Bet. All right. So do I have any groupings for G? Do I have any groupings? Yes, I have these parentheses right here. So I'm going to do what's inside of that first. So inside of that grouping, do I have any other groupings? No. Inside of that grouping, do I have exponents? No. Or exponents and square roots. Do I have any multiplying and dividing? I do. I have multiplying here. So I like to underline whatever operation I'm doing first, so that way I can easily track my progress. So 4 times 5, that gives me 20. And you guys can use a calculator for this. So make sure that you're using your calculator. So plus 15 squared. All right, you know what? I'm going to just use my hand on the screen. All right, next. Do I have any grouping still? Yes, I have those parentheses. Do I have any exponents and square roots inside? No. Do I have any multiplication and division? No. Do I have any addition or subtraction? I have subtraction. So I'm going to do the subtraction next. So now I have 2 times 20 minus 3 should give me 17 plus 15 squared. All right. Now, again, do I have any groupings? No, I have the parentheses there, but that parentheses just means that I'm multiplying the 2 and the 17. It does not mean it's not a parentheses to signify groupings. So I'm going to be doing, let me see, do I have any groupings? Do I have any exponents or square roots? I do have an exponent over here. So that's what I would do next. So I'm going to do 2 times 17, and 15 squared should give me 225. I don't have any more groupings. I don't have any exponents or square roots. Do I have any multiplication and division? Yes, I have it right here. So 2 times 17, I believe that's 34, but I'm going to use my calculator because I'm big brain like that. So that gives me 34 plus 225. Do I have any adding or subtracting? Yes, right here. So 34 plus 225. Oh, I messed that up. 34 plus 225 gives me 259. And that should be my answer for this one. All right, let's go over another example. Do I have any groupings? Yes, I do. I have this parentheses right here. So inside of the parentheses, do I have any other groupings? No. Do I have any exponents of square roots? I do. I have this right here, square root of 25. So I'm going to do square root of 25 first. Square root of 25 is 5. So now I have 5 minus 10 plus 3 times 2. Again, I still have groupings. I have this right here. So inside of there, I'm doing the subtraction. 5 minus 10, that is going to give me negative 5. Don't get confused there, because I know some of y'all messed that up last time. It's going to give me a negative 5. The negative is going to be important. So I have my parentheses around the negative. That's just because I like to put parentheses around my negative so that we don't confuse it with a subtraction symbol. So next, I've done my grouping. I don't have any exponents or square roots. I'm doing multiplying and dividing. So I'm doing this right here. So that's going to give me 3 times 2, which is 6. So now I have negative 5 plus 6. So negative 5 plus 6. When I'm finished with that, that should give me a, oh wait, no, not a negative one. It should just give me a regular one. And then I'm done. On to the next one. And this is this, we're following the same steps every single time. Ooh, 6 DOS. Look at that. All right. Do I have any groupings? This time I do have a grouping, but this time the grouping is absolute value bars. So when we do absolute value bars, remember that everything inside of the absolute value bars always comes out positive, whatever's on the inside. So 16 negative, well, negative 16 plus 5 is going to give me negative 11. So now I have the absolute value of negative 11 minus the square root of 49. So I don't have any, well, I still have a grouping, but I have the absolute value of negative 11, which is going to give me 11. So that's what I would do next. So now I have 11 minus the square root of 49. Exponents of square roots is next, which would be the square root of 49. So now I have 11 minus 7, because the square root of 49 is 7. And then 11 minus 7, and that should give me 4 as my final answer. Boom. All right. This stuff is easy as long as we're following the steps. All right. Let's go over this last example here. Now, this one, is this the last one? Yeah, we'll go over this last example. This last one looks funky. All right. This looks super duper complicated. Fret not, my young Padawan, because you have an amazing teacher. All right. So I would say this as 2 times 2 plus 4 squared divided by the square root of 100. So this counts as a grouping because I have this big division bar here. I'm going to do everything that's on top of the big division bar first. So I'm going to start out with, on the top of the big division bar, do I have any other groupings? No. Do I have any exponents of square roots? Yes, I have 4 squared. So I'm going to do 2 times 2 plus 4 squared is going to give me 16. And then we have all divided by the square root of 100. Next, I'm going to do this right here because I've taken care of my groupings. I'm going to take care of my exponents, but I'm going to do that when I get to the bottom of my division bar. So I'm moving on to multiplication. So 2 times 2, that should give me 4. So now I have 4 plus 16, all divided by the square root of 100. Next, multiplying and dividing, adding and subtracting. So I have adding and subtracting on top. I have 4 plus 16. So 4 plus 16, that should give me 20. So now I have 20 divided by the square root of 100. So I'm done with the top grouping. Now I focus on the bottom part of the fraction symbol or the division bar. And down there, I do have an exponent or square root. I have the square root of 10. I'm sorry, the square root of 100, which is 10. So now I have 20 over 10. And then 20 over 10, that should be pretty easy because that's really just division, right? So division of 20 divided by 10, which is going to give me 2 as my final answer. All right. So again, stick to the process, follow the steps. When you have a big fraction bar like we just had here, do everything on top first, then do everything on the bottom, and then whatever your final answers are, you're going to divide those two together. Stick to following my order of operations here. GEMDAS And then at every single step, start over with, do I have any more groupings? Do I have any more exponents? And don't forget about the rule here. When it comes to multiplication and division, adding and subtracting, we do those left to right. It doesn't matter if subtraction comes first. It doesn't matter if division comes first. You're still doing it left to right. All right. See you guys on the next video where we'll go over a few more examples. Peace. Are you going to stop or not, yo? Stop.